What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. This week had already been nuts for fans and Disney alike at CINEMACON. Of course, Disney, fresh off the acquisition of the Fox properties and already bursting to the seams with the schedule this year that includes movies outside of Avengers Endgame. But who would know? And did I mention the Fox acquisition? Well, apparently Disney didn't want viewers and fans to forget that little Fox acquisition had happened, and they now have control of the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and a whole slew of thousands of other Marvel characters, and went ahead and issued a sizzle reel yesterday that included Hugh Jackman's Wolverine talking to Black Panther. No, this isn't a joke. No, this isn't April Fool's. No, it's not made up, and it's been corroborated by a lot of sources. Now, I'm going to go ahead and break down what a sizzle reel is and what this means for the next phase, Wolverine, and specifically Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. But first, if you could, grab the subscribe button. We're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel-related stuff, including tickets to go see Avengers Endgame in IMAX. All you got to do, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. I'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there, as well as I just released a brand new song. I left it down in the description in the comments below. I know certain types of music aren't for everybody, but hey, if you support me or if you're curious and just want to check it out, you can click that link, and I'd sincerely appreciate it. So when these reports started coming out, I actually dismissed them as hearsay and rumor, because what was being said was there was new footage of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and or Black Panther talking to each other, and that's not exactly correct. In order to understand what Disney showed to people yesterday, you need to understand what a sizzle reel is. Now, I wouldn't expect a lot of you who aren't directors, who haven't worked on that side of the camera, to know what a sizzle reel is, except for the fact that 2 years ago and right before Infinity War, when Taika Waititi was hired by Marvel Studios to direct Thor Ragnarok, it became a thing of legends, the sizzle reel that he brought with them to show Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. A sizzle reel is when you put together clips of music and or video and footage from other movies to show some people, hey, if I were to direct your film, hey, if I were to produce your film or have a hand in the direction, this is the direction I would want it to go. Of course, it includes other people's materials, sometimes not even movies or material that you would include. For instance, when he showed the Thor Ragnarok sizzle reel to Marvel Studios, I guarantee you there were scenes outside of other Thor Marvel movies, just specific dialogues so that you can get the feel and the attitude and the quirk. And of course, one of the most legendary things about that sizzle reel was the introduction of the Immigrant song, a Viking theme song that fits with Thor exactly from Led Zeppelin. And then that song made it into Thor Ragnarok in not only 1 but 2 specific shots during the film. So a sizzle reel can absolutely have a real impact on the final product and what you see, especially if the directors and or the studios hit on a moment that's special. They'll simply recreate it. Well, what does that have to do with this sizzle reel of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine talking to Black Panther? Now, a lot of you guys have probably seen those fan-made movies online, and the description of this sounds a lot like that. You'd have a shot, probably out of one of the more recent X-Men movies, of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine saying, "What is this place?" I remember him saying that in a movie. I don't remember which one it is. And then it cuts over to Black Panther sitting in his throne in Wakanda, simply listening, and then cuts back to Wolverine, with the overall finishing effect having Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in Wakanda asking Black Panther, "Where are they?" Now, of course, that would ruffle some feathers and make fans super excited, but Disney was not intending to say they're simply going to keep Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and drop him into Black Panther 2. That's not how this is going to work. That, as a sizzle reel moment, was meant to inspire fans, to remind them, hey, we have Wolverine, not specifically Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, but Wolverine in general, and that very soon Wolverine and the rest of the X-Men are going to get to interact with the Avengers, Black Panther, and all of the characters that you already know inside of this same MCU. Semicolon. However, 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago at this point, I did a video on Hugh Jackman's Wolverine making a cameo in Avengers Endgame, not only because of the purchase power it would have with the fans in a moment of absolute hype to see the claws come out alongside our favorite Avengers, but also because this would be the last chance to introduce Hugh Jackman's character alongside these and clean it up with a new butterfly effect time rewrite. It would also be another opportunity to introduce him via the quantum realm, and or the only opportunity to do so. And of course, if we want Hugh Jackman versus the Hulk the way that it happened in the comics, considering the future of rocky ground for Mark Ruffalo's contract and the Hulk rights left over at Universal. Side note, Universal, what are you doing? Just give the rights back to Marvel, have them cut you a licensing deal, 10%, whatever it is, and then you'll make more off the Hulk going forward in the cosmic phase than you will any other way. I don't know why these people don't hire me. I It makes no sense. I think half of the fans could figure out how you do this, but the problem being the egos over at these movie studios are bigger than any of us can ever know, commensurate with their bank accounts, and unfortunately that's why these things don't get worked out, and rather properties go and suffer and die at different studios where they'd see no life. Either way, this is the last chance for one of the most iconic superheroes, if not the most iconic superhero outside of the MCU, to somehow find a way back in at this crowning moment for all superheroes in the 11th hour. Unfortunately, I think it's a long shot and not to be. I believe many of you would agree with me that this is something that just simply can't happen. There are too many things standing in the way, too many pieces of red tape. Bigger picture though, the scissor reel seems to implicate X-Men and or Wolverine showing up sooner than later in the MCU, and the idea that a couple of these X-Men would show up in other people's movies as ancillary support characters only to find their way like streams to a bigger river out to the ocean leading into an X-Men movie, I think is the best way to do it. That way you're not dropping all of these individual franchise movies that all have to individually report back to the MCU in a way of keeping continuity straight. Of course, questions like, where has Wolverine been this whole time? He's not exempt, or any of the X-Men are not exempt of that question, the same way Carol Danvers is going to face that question at Endgame. Now, we now know, of course, that her answer is, hey, I was out defending other realms and other populations on other planets who aren't as lucky enough as Earth to have Avengers to avenge them. But what would that mean for Earth? Well, luckily enough for me, this screenshot included not only Carol Danvers answering that question to Rhodey, but also a certain Wanda Maximoff, and that's where we come back to the Infinity War art book that was released last year on the back end of Infinity War that implied that not only did the Mind Stone change Wanda and give her her powers, but perhaps unlocked something latent inside of her, and perhaps she's the first mutant in the MCU. Now, a lot of people have guessed that the quantum energy in the quantum realm could do the same things as Infinity Stones. I'm one of those people, and perhaps a quantum level event where a lot of people use quantum energy and or something that's going to happen in Avengers Endgame, where the quantum realm plays a part in rewriting the MCU, leads to the future of mutants. And also perhaps Captain Marvel ends up being just like Scarlet Witch, in that the Infinity Stones and or some external power source unlocks a latent gene that was already present inside of them. Remember guys, mutants are actually that, a mutated gene inside human beings that allows them to have their special powers. They don't come from external sources, rather that's why they're called the mutant genes. But also, it doesn't mean you couldn't unlock those latent mutant genes with Infinity War energy, quantum realm energy, and that's probably where they're going to go in the MCU, as making it a little more realistic like the rest of the MCU. Guys, that's why this has worked so well, is because this is such a fantasy steeped in realism. That is a subject for a different movie, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. First of all, we've got the idea of Wolverine showing up in Black Panther 2. Do you think that will happen? Second thing, do you think Wolverine will be the first of all the X-Men to show up? And do you think that they're even going to delve into the X-Men this early, close to the release of Dark Phoenix? Number 3, I've been on record as saying I don't think the Dark Phoenix movie is ever going to see the light of day, but Marvel did just release that entire slate of movies that seems to say there'll be a theatrical release for not only Dark Phoenix, but New Mutants. Color me absolutely shocked, because I cannot believe they're putting out that New Mutants movie. Quick side note, I was actually present for one of the earliest screenings of the New Mutants last year, before Infinity War came out. Side note to the side note, I thought I was actually getting to see a pre-screening of Infinity War. You can imagine my disappointment when I showed up and they showed me New Mutants. Man, it was awful back then. I can't imagine that it's come any much further at this point. And so a theatrical release for either of those seems to temper Marvel Studios wanting to put any of their own X-Men in that close. You got to remember, most of the public, most of the movie-going X-Men, Marvel-loving public doesn't understand the difference between Fox properties and or Marvel Studios, doesn't understand that Venom is in a different Sonyverse than Spider-Man in the MCU. I know to a lot of you that would make you laugh and be like, what? But I'll tell you, more people than you think don't understand the distinction between the 2 or 3 different Marvel universes. Now quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros at the 300 and 400,000 subscriber mark. We're also giving away tickets to go see Avengers Endgame in IMAX every Wednesday and Friday leading up to the movie. If you missed yesterday's video, all you gotta do, double back to that video. We announced the winners for the first plaque and the tickets at the end of the video. The plaques that we're giving away are Marvel Trendsetters limited edition, limited run plaques containing original film cells from the respective movies. We've got one from Winter Soldier, one from Civil War, one from Age of Ultron, and one from Guardians of the Galaxy. I still have not heard from the winner yesterday, so please, if you're out there, Emerald Gaming, hit me up. You won one of these plaques. You get to choose which one you want, and then the other 3 plaques remain. We'll give away one leading up every Friday to Avengers Endgame. Also, guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, I just released a new song. I know different styles of music are not for everybody, and you might not dig it, but it's indie rock, so if you like that, and or you're curious, or if you just want to support me by streaming the song, that'd be awesome. There's a link in the description and the comments below. Thanks for checking out the channel, guys. My name's Everything Always. Actually, my name's Michael Roman. It's not Everything Always, but this is Everything Always, and I'm still Michael Roman, and we'll be posting again real soon, so stick around.